All right, welcome back. Since we're on the subjects of ETFs, I want to talk about something very important. Now, this is something that comes from my years of experience in day trading, and I want to share it with you because it is incredibly important to your success. Okay. Now, we talked about ETFs, and one of the things I want to talk about here is that I strongly recommend you to understand what you're trading. So I know traders, friends that I have, who trade a certain stock and they've been doing it for many years and they're making so much money and they never trade something else. These are successful traders and these are people who don't trade anything else but one or two stocks or ETFs. For example, I have a friend who trades Apple only Apple, okay? And he's been doing it for about 6 years now, 5, 6 years. And he's been doing very well. And the reason he's been doing very well, in his opinion, is that he just trades one stock that he understands very well. And that's what you got to do. You got to trade a stock or ETF that you understand very well. You're comfortable with it. You know the industry at least a little bit, or at least you researched about it a lot. So, like for example, in my case, I do SQQQ and TQQQ because it's tech and I understand it very well. I have a background in it. And I've researched a lot. I know what moves it, what doesn't move it, all that stuff. Understand what's inside of it. And another thing with ETFs is that when you actually research an ETF and you choose which ones you want to go for, you can actually see what is inside those ETFs. For example, the QQQ and TQQQ and SQQQ, the biggest one in it is actually Apple, because it just includes a lot of tech companies, right? So Apple is a big portion of it. For example, when there's an earning for Apple or like something happens to Apple stock moves up and down, it actually affects these stocks, or Facebook or Meta or like other tech companies, Google, So these are a big portion of the TQQQ and SQQQ. So keep that in mind, guys. The point I'm trying to make is that when you trade, I want you to remember you need to understand what you're trading. You need to understand what you're doing, what is it that you're buying and selling, and you need to understand what moves it and what doesn't move it. So it's really, really important to research your ETF, see what's inside of it, use that page that I sent you. It gives you some information, and you can also Google what's inside ETF, whatever your ETF name is. So you can see what is inside and what moves it and what doesn't move it. For example, I know two people who do gas, like gas ETFs, UPRO, and one of the things that they do is that they always have their line on like new reports when it comes to natural gas and all stuff like that, the natural gas reserves and stuff like that. So again, you got to understand it, and you want to make sure that you know what moves and what doesn't move it. So I just want to point that out before we move forward to some other stuff that I'd like to point out before we get into, again, more technical and more mental side, psychological side of things, which is very, very important. All right, guys. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.